Okay, good.
Okay, you guys, I am recording our leader in training call for Tuesday, January 9th, 2018. Woohoo! We're a whole new year.
Yeah.
We've been preparing and planning for this year, and we might be ahead of the game. We might be behind in the game, but we are not out of the game. So because it is the brand new year, we are excited to help you guys reach your goals and to see you guys all at Rise in Vegas. So what we're going to do is Amber is going to recap the last call. I hope that you have all caught up on all the calls. They build on each other. So it's really critical. Even if you can't make it live, we totally get it, timing, whatever, kids, schedules, life. But it's super critical that you follow up to those other calls. We all the plans in the leader group. So if you have any questions, you need anything on that, just let us know. Those are really important. You can also go back and listen to all of those again. So those are really important. Those are like those give you the boost and the confidence and the foundation. Okay. So Amber's going to take us and kick us off with a recap from last week. And then we will go from there. Amber?
Hey guys, awesome. Thanks, Mandy. Okay, sorry about the technical difficulty here. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Can you guys hear me?
Uh-huh.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so just a quick recap from last week. I said now. We talked about the push and pull energy when you're at your base and having conversations about the business. So I just wanted to kind of recap a little bit about that, making sure that you are maintaining your energy when you walk into a party or you walk into a meeting or a phone conversation with a team member, a hostess, a potential rep. It doesn't really matter, but taking a couple moments to maintain your energy, not bring on the desperate, I'll do anything to get them on my team feeling, but more of the strategic, like how can we make this best work? How can I make WildTree a solution for you? And that's really the secret that we're all trying to achieve here, right? It's just being solution oriented, because when we're being solution oriented, we don't feel like the pushy sales lady. We don't feel like we're desperate and begging for business. We're basically offering solutions. So I want to hear from you guys. Was there any time last week where you guys were aware of your energy? Maybe you were able to check your energy or caught yourself slipping up. Or maybe you had a success where because of your awareness, you saw a positive result in your business. Does anybody want to share that with us?
I will share. And I just want to say I'm getting caught up because I wasn't on last week's call. I was out of coverage and I had a training that whole day. So I got behind, but I watched last week's twice. So I think I'm kind of caught up. But so when I was in Sun River, I was with a lot of different families from my kids' school, some that I don't know as well, who had not really been on my radar before because they have younger kids. And I was sharing a cabin with another mom who's super interested in wanting to host a WildTree party. And so I brought I had an extra kit. So I just brought it for us for the whole week to put together. And so she could experience it because she couldn't really conceive it. And so in doing so, I was really aware of that. I thought I could just come off to these ladies you guys got to sign up, you got to do this. But instead I just got really into enjoying it and being in the energy of this is how we're feeding our kids and my kids love it. And which made them want to ask, which made them want more. It was way better. It was way better attraction energy than, hey, can I prospect you? So it felt good.
Absolutely. And again, you were showing them how to use it and showing them what a solution it is for your family, right? Rather than being like, hey, here's my $80 kit. Do you want to buy it? You should buy it. Exactly. Anybody else? Thank you for sharing. Anybody notice the energy of people around them? That was about managing your energy and kind of just energy awareness, I guess you could call it. Started noticing people that would come into my network and even that were already in my life that I was like, ooh, she has really bad energy or she's very desperate or whatever. Has anybody had any situations like that where they become aware on the other side?
I had a party on Sunday night And it was a free to workshop. Several people were prepping and really excited. And then a couple came just to check it out. And their energy when they first came was very standoff. Like, I don't really trust the person that's repping it because they don't know what it is. So it wasn't until we went to check out and I got to have those one-on-one conversations to see what their lifestyle kind of looked like, how they usually like to cook. And then, showing them some solutions that they could use. And just having that conversation, really, they were able to put their guard down and they were very interested. They ended up getting probably the most of what everybody else ended up getting. But it was their energy when they first came. I was intimidated because their wall was up and they were not ready, but through the demo and through our one-on-one conversation, it was a lot better. It's intimidating when they come in and they're like,
yes,
I have no use for this.
I think those people parties all the time. And I think they can be very intimidating, especially for a brand new rep. Somebody who already feels a little bit like out of her element, still getting to know the ropes and stuff, and those people come in. So I think that's why it's so important to understand like the importance of being strategic and not pushy, because I think if you get those people and you walk in and you have a pushy rep, like those two things are never going to combine.
Well, and one of the gals had been to a party and she felt like the rep, we didn't exchange names, but she felt like the rep was pushy and she didn't get a good vibe. She thought she was, one way or another. It wasn't a good connection. And so she wanted to know if it was going to be okay if I ended up being her rep and she wanted to host a party with me and I was set. And I, said it was fine. You got to go with who you're going to make that connection with.
Yep.
So it was a very interesting party.
Absolutely.
A lot of emotions.
Good for you. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think it's also important too, like energy is contagious. Like you could have chosen to fall into their energy, but instead like being aware of your own, like consciously aware of your own, that allowed you to kind of stay neutral and address the situation the way you should have.
Yeah.
So
totally.
Awesome. Okay. So Mandy's going to kick us off with some hostess coaching.
Okay. Can you hear me? Yep. Okay, good. Okay. So host coaching, right? That's the foundation to our business. And it really is what helps us be in front of enough people. So I'm going to share some tips with you that we have to make your parties the best that they can be. A good chunk of the work that you do for your parties is before your parties, and put that in big, bold, dark letters. Before your parties. If you do not host coach and get people there, there is no purpose for you being there. So you do the work before. During this time, you need to be the best you can be at host coaching, and staying organized is a key. So there are many ways to stay organized with your host. Everybody has their own little niche, and you're going to switch and find the best niche for you. But you need to find what works for you for sure. But Holly and I in the new Rep Strong Start training, there is a host coaching checklist that you can track each host, and then you can also track their guests for each party as well. So it's really important that you are using, if you're not using that method, you can always make a copy and do whatever works best for you. Just a show of hands, have any of you seen that on here? Shake your head yes, or comment on the side like, yep. Have you been using it? Awesome. Maria, can you just speak a little bit about like when you started using that and how it's helped you a little bit?
Well, yeah, for one, it's super organized. So as long as I'm tracking and going through it, making my having those conversations with my host, it keeps me on track. So when I have my 6 to 8 parties, using a tracking sheet and reminding myself of what to do day to day is helpful in itself. But then you guys have provided like wording and images and the thank you, like all these things that I don't need to recreate the wheel, just edit. And so it's incredibly helpful.
Awesome. And I don't know if Carrie or Christine, I know, is on the call too. Have you guys had a chance to check that out? A little bit? Okay. I can't see Christine because she's on the phone. So I would recommend, I'm going to post that into our leader in training. The reason why this is so important is it doesn't necessarily need to be our method, but there needs to be a method. And what Maria said is that we took it and we tried to make it as easy as possible for you. And not only for you, but also for team building and sharing team building, and sharing that with those who are on your team as they are getting off the ground and host coaching and really being successful. Okay. So I will post that in the leader in training as well. To go back over that. But what's important is that, one, you're not recreating the wheel, and that everything is right in front of you. So whether you decide to do a digital tracker or whether you decide to do paper, whatever works for you, but find that method. And that's on day 8 if you guys are in the New Rep Strong Start training. If you're not in the New Rep Strong Start training, you definitely need to connect with your upline, because that is all about team building and getting your new reps out to a strong start. It has everything it needs. Okay, so if you don't, I guarantee if you don't use a tracker, you will miss something, and winging it just isn't productive. It is a lot of time, it's a lot of energy, and it's a lot of stress added when you already have a resource in front of you. Like I said, you can tweak it as you go or find something that works best for you, but definitely finding a resource. Okay, so connecting with your upline and coaching through that, if that is not something you're using, and how you can use and implement that is huge. Okay. I get asked often, what's the best way to communicate with your host? A lot of reps ask that, and a lot of reps don't like hearing the answer, because you can probably guess it. The best way to communicate with your host is to get on the phone with them and have that very first phone call. And it's also important too, some customer or some of your hosts will like texting, some will like emailing, some will like touching base. So when you get on the phone, that very first phone call conversation, you will know the best way to communicate with them. Majority of my hosts will say, text me. It's just easier. And then if I feel like if there's like, hey, let's just get on the phone, it's going to be easier to chat through this, then we can schedule that time. But it is critical that you schedule that very first call, and that first call happens within days of booking. And I'll tell you a little secret. In the New Rep Strong Start host coaching checklist, there's actually a guideline for that very first phone call, what it looks like, what it sounds like, word questions you can ask, so on and so forth. So again, it's laid out for you. You don't have to think about what to say or how to guide that conversation. Even if your host is not a fan of communicating through the phone, that first call is critical. I will be honest, at like last year, end of 2016, I really got away from getting on the phone, and I did a lot of communicating via textbook and Facebook, and I saw my numbers drop. And the reason being is I was taking that personal connection out of it. The grocery store and all these other companies don't have a person behind them like you do. You are your brand. And so that allows you to really build that rapport, get them excited. You're walking them through the prosperity circle when you connect on that first call without even knowing it, without even realizing it. And so you're using that to guide your conversation. So
one more thing, Mandy.
Say that again.
Can I add one thing to that too?
Absolutely.
Just that the phone call, like you said, the excitement and all that stuff is super huge. But I find myself, if I'm not making that phone call or keeping in touch via phone, the messages and the text messages take up so much of your time to like do it throughout the day or whenever it's, so if you can get it on the phone and like do one 20-minute, 30-minute conversation of host coaching, then you're not, I find myself like messaging all day with somebody because we're just going back and forth answering questions where I could spend 5-10 minutes on the phone to do it.
And that right there is key too, is saying like, hey, you have some awesome questions. Do you have just a quick 5 minutes sometime today that we can chat? That will save so much time. And people are so afraid to get on the phone. And oftentimes your hosts don't have a ton of time. Like that's why they're hosting, so they can get meals and buy back a little bit of time. But it's really, really important that you connect with them on the phone, because that allows you to build that rapport. It allows you to, when they are asking questions, you can say, hey, do you have 5 minutes? Let's chat quickly. And they're going to give you that time because you've already put that time in up front. Okay. So that's super important. Thanks for adding that, Maria. I think that's huge. So when I book my party, oftentimes it's through text or email or even when we are at a party, I say, hey, do you have time to chat? Either my office hours are Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So do you have time to chat on Tuesday or Wednesday to just touch base about how to have a successful party? How I can help support you having a successful party. They're gonna when they book a party, they want to book a party to have a successful party. They don't want to book a party to have nobody there. And so when you can guide them through having a successful party, they're gonna be all ears. And just scheduling that call. When I book a party at a party, I do not leave that party without having that first call on the calendar. I'm going to say that again because that was a key factor for me that I got away from. When I book a party at a party, I schedule that first connect call right then and there. I actually write it on a sheet for them, their party, their RSVP date, their menu options, and I write our call will be, we will talk on this day at this time to chat about having a successful party. Right then and there. It's like right there. And so they have that and I have them plug it in their phone. So that's key also. Okay, so making sure I'm not missing anything. I'm kind of jumping a little bit. Okay, so on this call, talk about going through the prosperity circle. You don't even realize it. You get the excitement, the free product, why she wants to host, girls' night out. Some people want to do like themes, like I want to do mimosas and meals, or I really want to focus around getting the simple, easy dinners. And that helps you guide know how to support her. So when her attendance is low, say, hey, I know you had a really strong vision of having this many people. Go back through your contact list and connect with this many people and can you make that happen? And then you have her buy in because you're connecting back to her vision and her excitement. Going over the host rewards, that's key. Another thing too is really connecting, like you're going to get those host rewards. So with 7 guests, you're going to get your workshop kit for free. I will take care of that for you. So your job is to get those people signed up or whatever. Keep in mind that it is really important that they need to invite at least 3 times the amount of people that they want to attend. So I always shoot for 40 people to invite, and I tell them to keep a pencil list. You know, like how people write notes and they love writing notes. I say, grab a piece of paper, like a computer paper or whatever, and write down everybody that you connect with. So then when you go back and you circle back to invite them, you'll realize like, oh, they never responded. They are probably busy, and err on the side that they are busy. So it's a good time to reconnect with them. So plan, ask how they would normally invite to any party that they would hold. And majority of people will say text. They text their friends, they create a cute image, or Facebook. There is some email options in the host coaching checklist as well. But I look back and I say, and I'm like, I literally have 0 of my friends' emails unless they're in my Wild Tree emails. I just don't communicate via email that often. Instead, I email or I communicate via text and Facebook. And so really allowing her to do that. If they're not on Facebook, that's fine. There is other options as well. Setting up the host to invite her friends 3 times, circling back around. Err on the side that people are busy. I've had several hosts tell me like, oh, I never even thought about that they were busy and didn't respond, instead of thinking that they ignored me. A lot of people want to say, oh, they never got back to me, they're not interested. And I say, in fact, they probably are interested. They're probably just busy and that's why they need this. And most hosts are like, oh my gosh, that's so true. Okay. Sending the invite out right away. I do that after I have that first phone call conversation. You send out your save the date. Let her know she's going to hear her no's first, and that's totally normal, so she doesn't get bummed. And let people know that they're busy. Assure that the yeses and the maybes will come closer to her RSVP date. The personal invite is vital and critical to success. And I express that to my host on that very first phone call, that connecting with her friends. People are busy and they will read that text or whatever in the carpool line, be like, oh my God, that sounds awesome. And the kids get the car, they totally forget, 100% forget about it, out of their mind. So it's really important following back up with those people and then really connecting as she's out and about, talking about it, sharing that she's having a party, calling her friends up and saying, hey, I'm having this party. I'd love for you to come. It's your job to guide her in that direction so she can have a successful party. And I will be honest, it is key for when you host your own parties to do these same steps for yourself. We oftentimes forget that we're like, oh, I know what to do. So you skip steps or you don't do them, or you just expect or think that people are going to sign up. But in reality, you need to host coach yourself just like you would host coach anybody else who's having a party. And that's key. And in this double host rewards and the bonus host rewards, right now is the time for you to put parties on your calendar, whether it's tastings, whether it's freeze removal workshops, whether it's 1, 2, 3, whatever it is. This is the time to do that and really connect and host coach yourself to get people there and excited, because that's going to propel you again into February, into the spring. Okay. So when the last time you were at a party, I already talked about that. 3 invites at the beginning, about a week before, and then the day or so before. So the key to a good turnout: invite 3 times, personally connect, invite enough people, and really work with your host and build that rapport. I think that's it. It looks like all the notes are covered. Amber, I think you are up next. Let me double check. She is. She's going to talk about team building and networking. If there's anybody that wants to add anything or have any questions, feel free to ask. Amber, if you want to add anything too, that is totally cool.
Yeah, no, I think for sure covered the important pieces. Okay, so I want to talk to you guys a little bit about the team building. Obviously, this is like the elephant in the room, right? Anytime we talk about you guys going for leader, it's like, but I have to recruit team members. And so for a lot of people, even though it's part of your promotion, I know that it makes a lot of us feel a bit anxious and unsure. This is kind of the uncomfortable piece that we really are here to help you with. So here's what I want you guys to know first. First off, there's no need to panic, because we're going to help you with the recruiting. And once I think you get into the recruiting, if you're new to this and you're just learning about recruiting, you're going to find out that it's actually really fun, and it's a great way to earn additional income and have more fun in this business. And our next call is actually going to be really dedicated to team building. So today I'm just going to touch on a few of the nuggets for you. But right now there's 3 tokens that I want you to take away until we dig into our next call, because I really want to get you thinking about what you want your business to be. And then I want you to start planting those seeds. So first things first, I want to kind of reevaluate your perspective. Most companies offer 3 main components. They offer a product, they offer a service, and they offer hiring. Okay. With WildTree, it's our job to help people decide if they want to hire themselves. It's not our job to decide for them. So it's really important for you guys to just keep an open mind about this idea. And people actually do want to join your team. Okay, say that to yourself. People want to join my team. Make that an affirmation. Like, people want to work with me, dang it. Say it to yourself over and over until you believe it, because they do want to join your team. But you have to actually ask them to join your team. That's the missing piece for a lot of people, is they give them all kinds of information, but they never actually ask, do you want to do this with me? Would you be interested in joining my team? So you became a WildTree rep, right? Somebody obviously asked you, or more than likely. And chances are, because you're sitting here in this program and you're participating with us, you are enjoying what you're doing. You're probably loving what you're doing. And because you are going for this promotion, you have to know that people want to join you. There are people that are interested, and there are people that are excited. I often think about it like when I go to Target. Okay, I won't tell you how often I go to Target, but when I go to Target and I'm in the line, the first thing they always ask me as I'm checking out is, do you want to put this on your Target credit card today? Do you want to open a Target credit card today? And I don't think to myself like, oh, how dare she ask me if I want to open a credit card? I'm not offended. I'm not insulted. I don't think less of her. It's just part of her job description. She's doing what she's supposed to be doing. So it's the same thing with us. It's the same thing when your waitress offers you dessert, right? It's the same thing with our business. We offer the opportunity to every single person that comes through our line in this business. And I guarantee you that if they're interested in it, they're thinking about it long after they leave. And if they're not interested, if they're the people that you're actually afraid of, the like ones that you're afraid, what are they going to think if I ask her? They have forgotten about it before they've probably even left the room. Okay? The only people this is sticking with are the people who are considering it or want more information. So don't be afraid to ask every single person to join your team. The next thing I want you guys to think about is who do you want to start your business with? So we've talked in the past about like your dream team. I think Holly and I covered that a couple calls ago. Like, who's on your dream team? If you could hand pick your team, who would it be? And the easiest way to do this is to go back to your contact list of 100 with a highlighter. And I like to highlight all my prospective team members in green because green means money, and growing your team is the fastest way to earn a significant income here. So go through that contact list with a different perspective though. Okay, so a couple weeks ago, Holly and I said, go through there and highlight 5 people that you would love to be in business with. Like your top of the top, your go-getters, who do you want to be in business with? And I know you all did that. So now I want you to go back through that list a second time. And I want you to look for people that are super outgoing. These are the people that like, they walk into the party and everybody knows they're there. They're very fun. They're very boisterous. I want you to look for people that love to cook, or maybe the exact opposite, they hate to cook. These are the people on social media that are always posting pictures of the meals they created, or griping about the meals they're trying to create that's not going so well. These might be the people who are checking into a different restaurant every meal, and you know they're not cooking at home. I want you to think about people who are really passionate about food. All right, and so that might even go beyond the love for cooking. That might even go further beyond that. But again, somebody who's just really passionate, and maybe they're constantly posting about, you know, clean eating or the benefits of coconut oil, or they're just really passionate about what they're into and they know a lot. Stay-at-home moms. Stay-at-home moms are a great target, just because, not because they need something else to fill their time or their plate, Lord knows they're busy enough, but because oftentimes they're looking for adult interaction. And so stay-at-home moms are a great demographic to go after. People looking for extra income. We all know people looking for extra income. And don't be afraid to think of them like that, okay? People who hate their job. Think of the people who are constantly griping about their boss or their coworkers. They're working their dreaded 40 hours for a lower wage, and they don't know how to get ahead, okay? Who are the people who are excited about your business venture? Who do you know that when every time they see you, they ask, how's Wild Tree going? Or, ooh, is that Wild Tree that you brought in today? Who is really excited when they say, oh my gosh, I'm excited for you. Let me know when you have your first party. Those are the people that you want to be talking about business with. People who need Wild Tree. So we all know the people who, for one reason or another, whether it be the concept, the lifestyle, the income, the clean eating, whatever it is, they need Wild Tree. All right, highlight them. And then people who Wild Tree needs. So we all know of those people as well who, at least one person, I mean, I can think of one off the top of my head, total rock star. Like, this girl is just got her shit together. She's professional. She's smart. She's outgoing. Like, she would be the ultimate recruit. I think of those people as well. And then who do you just want to work with? Best friend, sister, who do you just love to be around? You think going to conferences with this person would be a blast, earning trips together would be a blast, going on retreats would be fun. Like, who do you just want to do this business with? Who would make this business that much better? So once you've highlighted these people, this is really going to be your starting point. And even if you're not 100% confident about talking to some of these people, highlight them anyways, because as your leaders and directors, we're actually going to help you guys find the right approach. And you probably won't contact all of these people in one day. We're going to build you up until you're confident and you're ready. So don't be scared. Just highlight them and know that we're going to work through that with you. And if you do have the opportunity to approach them sooner or later, just do it. Be brave. Like, do it scared, you know? Just go through it and say, you know, this may be totally out of left field, but have you ever thought about doing what I do? Because I think you'd be really good at it. And that is the simplest conversation starter ever. And if they've ever thought about doing what you do, they're going to usually tell you. And if they haven't thought about doing what you do, now you can have a conversation to say, maybe ever consider it. And if they say, oh, I could never do what you do because, now you have the potential to overcome objections, listen, ask more questions, and just it opens the door to a lot of really meaningful conversations, okay? So I just say, you know, this may be totally out of left field, but have you ever thought about doing what I do? I think you'd be really good at it. Or I think it would be really fun to do this with you. My final token is to ask everyone to join your team before you ask them to do a party with you. And there's actually a rationale behind this. If you say to somebody, you know, does any part of what I do seem appealing to you? Or have you ever considered doing what I do because I think you'd be really good at it? And they say, oh my gosh, you know what, Amber, thank you for asking. I appreciate that, but no, I have no interest in that. Okay, totally fine. What do you think? Do your friends eat? What do you think about getting them together for a party instead? If you ask, people are not as likely to say no to 2 questions in a row. So if you ask the hardest question first, and they're not interested, then more than likely they're going to be saying yes to your second question. And if they say yes to your first question, well, that's even better because we'll take recruits over bookings, right? So, and if they do have interest, if they do say, you know, I've never really considered doing what you do, but I guess I'd be open to looking at some information, then we are going to get them on the opportunity video that we do. We're going to schedule a follow-up with them, all right? And we're going to do all of the follow-up strategies that we've been learning about. We're going to get something dated. I'm just going to say, okay, you know what? I'd love to actually talk to you more about that. Take home this information right here, and I give them a little recruiting flyer that comes in the kits. Do you have some time tomorrow so that I can answer your questions? Oh, perfect. And you know what else? When I get home tonight, I'm going to add you to our Simple Healthy Opportunity Facebook page. There's videos on there live every Wednesday night. There's also a couple recordings on there. Take a peek at that when you get a chance to. Oh, great. Thank you. Okay, I'll talk to you tomorrow. All right. I know there's so much more about recruiting, and like I said, next week we're really going to talk more about it, but Mandy's going to touch on a few more tips about it, and then make sure you tune in next week for even more.
Sorry, I was on mute because I'm dogs. Awesome. Thanks, Amber. Okay, let's talk about one thing that Amber was saying. In our brand new 2018 catalog, half that catalog is dedicated to the opportunity side. So
yeah.
Awesome resource for you guys at your fingertips in front of your customers at your parties. So that's huge. Another thing that Amber had mentioned is that you want to invite them to join your team and just think in threes. When they're booking, during host coaching, and at the party. And that's really important. So she talked about there's a reason why you ask at the booking. I've asked several times, or I've asked my hosts, and there's several times that they've come back and said, you know what, I really thought about it, just now's not the time. What does that do for me? It triggers me to put them on my list to continue to follow up, because as life changes, they may sway more into it or they may sway out of it, but I would never know either way unless I follow back up with them. So that's really important too. Also, talk about importance of sharing the product and using the product. So what this means is, as you're team building, these people already have used the product. Most of them have already hosted with you. And that's a foundation to team building. Like Amber said, there are some people who love the product and there's some people that come for the opportunity, but they already have that foundation. Build on that foundation. It's huge. So I think that's virtually the bulk of the team building that we're going to dive into today. But a few resources that I want you to make sure you walk away from. One, the Wednesday night call, like Amber said, our Facebook opportunity, Simple Healthy Opportunity, every single Wednesday. I post that in my customer group every single Wednesday as well. I connect with people. I personally invite them, and I follow up with them. Follow up is the key there. If they're not ready now, they could be ready later, and you'll never know unless you follow up with them. Okay, so there's that. You have your catalog, which is an awesome recruiting brochure right in front of you that you already have with you that talks about product and opportunity. And then another thing too that you could easily do is plug in with your upline team leader or director and do a 3-way opportunity call. If someone is interested, they have some questions, you're not sure how to answer those, the Facebook Live isn't their thing, or they still have questions after that, we partner together. We do not expect you to go team build on your own by any means. So plug in and do a 3-way call. And what that looks like is say, hey, it looks like you have, or it sounds like you have some awesome questions. My upline is an awesome support and we work together. I would love to do a 3-way call. When would work? I have Tuesday or Wednesday. Asking that question about it, okay? So like I said, closing, we will spend the bulk of our, like Amber was saying, next call on recruiting. But now that we're in the beginning of the month and we're propelling, trying to get you to these goals by the end of the month, we need to talk about recruiting now too. So we will talk about the bulk of recruiting next week. So mark your calendars. Go back and listen to some playbacks if you need to. If you already don't have a one-on-one coaching call with your upline, that is critical. Upline team leader or director, I should say. Get those set up now that it's new year. Get those on your calendar. Get those set up, because we can work for ourselves, but if we work by ourselves, that's when we don't get in the growth pattern. Okay. And this is a required part of the participation in this. If you have questions, we really want to help you reach your goals. But in order to do that, we need to be connecting with you. We're here with you. And that LIT Facebook page, that's an awesome way. I'm going to post the table of contents for the new rep Strong Start, as well as day 8, where that host coaching checklist and that tracker is for you as well. Okay. So in that host coaching checklist and tracker, you'll see the days and the steps and everything that you need to do. And at the very bottom is the tracker for your guest tracker. And that allows you to track each individual workshop for each host. So we have the Facebook page, you have your coaching calls, and then you have these calls that you can continue to rely on. Make sure you have a funnel list of who you can invite to opportunity. Continue connecting with people to host and book parties. Get your own parties on the calendar. Make sure you're host coaching like crazy. They love Wildtree. I'm willing to host and have and share Wildtree with their friends. So make sure you tap into that. There's an awesome market out there that you might have missed. I think that's it.
I think you got it.
Awesome. Okay, I think that's it. Amber, is there anything you want to add?
I don't think so. I think you guys are doing great so far. Just keep it up. The consistency is going to be the key right now.
Mm-hmm. Consistency and connecting, really connecting. Okay, you guys, I will post this recording so you can continue to listen to playback. If you have any questions, make sure to connect on with your upline for sure, team leader, as well as that LIT page. Yay! Have a rocking week.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye, guys.